All right, welcome everybody. So this is a new iteration of Industry Insights. My name is Michael Kimmel. I am the graduate assistant for the employer engagement team here at Lehigh University Center for Career and Professional Development. I have with me Anya.
Hi, I'm currently a career intern at the Center for Career and Professional Development.
Okay, and today we're joined by a representative by Veeva. Christina, do you mind just sharing a bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Christina Gonzalez Medina, and I'm a practice director within the Analytics Development Program. So that's a program within our broader Generation Veeva program, which focuses on bringing in new grads to start in different areas of our company. Veeva as a company focuses on building the industry cloud for life sciences. So we have data, technology, analytics, professional services focusing in the life sciences industry.
Great. Thank you. All right, Anya, go ahead.
What are some skills and competencies that you look for in prospective candidates?
So I will likely speak specifically to the analytics development program, but a lot of these things are also applicable to any program and any position across the company. We sort of have some core things that we look for. So people that put teamwork first, people that are hard workers, they can learn fast because we move very quickly. We are really interested or want people that they're problem solvers, that they have an analytical mind, that have some of those technical skills, but that can balance them well with the soft skills of interacting with people and communicating.
Great, thank you. So once somebody secures a position at Veeva, what would set them apart?
I think curiosity, and by that I mean the desire to want to continue learning, always wanting to understand the why behind something. So they continue to develop their skills. They can be learning their tasks and doing their tasks, but going that extra step in wanting to understand why they're doing it and not just that they're doing it. We have a phrase where we say, captain your own ship. So we a lot of value in people taking ownership of their own development and that they prioritize it for themselves as well. We give a 2% development reimbursement so that any employee can choose how they invest that money in their own development. So it's really taking that curiosity and that ownership for themselves.
And do you mind just elaborating on that development reimbursement? Would that be like continuing education while working full-time at Veeva, or how would that work?
So it can be applied in a varied ways. I'll give you my personal example. This past year, I actually got a career coach, a leadership coach, and the reimbursement to pay for that coach. And I had sessions with her one-on-one every couple weeks. It was very obviously tailored to what I needed to develop in my own career. It can be going to conferences, subscriptions, books. We have a long list of things that it can apply to. It's really basically anything that goes towards building the skills that are relevant to your position and your growth in the position. You just get approval from your manager and submit it, and we'll reimburse it.
Nice, nice.
And how does your company incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion into their workplace culture and hiring practices?
So we do have a chief diversity officer, and there's been a big push this year to build different communities. So we have different communities within Veeva. We have the Veeva Women's community, the Veeva Black community, the Veeva Asian community, and LGBTQ community. So we all sort of work together. Each one has different pillars that they focus in. Education, hiring and recruiting is a big one. And then building community and continued sort of connection internally as well. But for the recruiting and hiring process, it's just designed so that we're equitable to all potential candidates. And we have, bias trainings, and we just look for having a diverse background in people that we hire.
Yeah, that sounds great. Would you say that DEI really adds to the value of Veeva and just the overall work, just having that diversity of thought and perspective? Would you say that pushes Veeva's mission further along?
Absolutely. I think that just collaboration is such a big aspect of our culture and the work that we do together. That collaboration amongst people that all think exactly the same way doesn't innovate and doesn't push our thought forward. So we do gain a lot of value from having all those different perspectives. And I mean, Veeva is an international global company, so we have teams based in many different countries across the world. So there isn't always been an inherent diversity to the company because of working internationally, but even within the US, there's just been even more of an effort to make sure that we have the right systems in place to have the best diversity that we can have.
Great. So for our next question, just keeping with the theme of workplace culture and employee just valuing, how is employee feedback collected and used to really further the goals of Veeva?
So we actually just started a new check-in process that is intended for it to be an open discussion and dialogue between a manager and the employee. And in that, you're not just, so it's sort of talking about performance, but it's called a check-in because it's not just a one-way thing where the manager is telling the employee, here's how you're doing, here's your status, your skills you need to work on or not. The employee is also coming in and saying, here's my engagement, here's how I feel. Maybe everything's okay, maybe I'm okay with my job, but there's one particular thing that I'm not happy with or that I would like to change. So that is intended to open that dialogue just more directly between managers and employees. In addition to that, we have several places where you could submit feedback anonymously, and it goes to our employee success team. You could email the CEO, Peter Gassner, directly anonymously and provide feedback. And an example he gave in our last company call is that he added employee success as one of the values of our core values in our company back in 2013, I believe. And that he actually had an employee email him a very thoughtful email that said, you added this value, but you haven't done anything about it. You haven't invested in employee success. We have customer success as a value, and we work towards that. We have initiatives towards it. It really drives us, but you haven't really done anything about this. So he took that very seriously and said, you're right, actually, that hurts, but it's true. I haven't. So the investment started in a few months after he got that. So there we got Veeva Giving out of that. We got the 2% development program out of it. So all of our benefits that support employees' growth started after he got that feedback from an employee.
That's amazing. And that's really an example of, somebody saying like, hey, here's this issue, but here's a way to move forward. Would you say that's a very, somebody watching this video, they land at the company of their dreams, their dream job. However, much like anything in life, not everything's perfect. So you do encounter an issue at the workplace. Just going off of that and just kind of, from what you know of the employee success team, what's a real good way to kind of problem solve through that process? Say you're a new student, you're a new hire, you're fresh out of undergrad. What are some ways you recommend for those folks to handle these issues?
So I think this is actually something that I've been working on too with my team in terms of, we do have a very open culture in that we want to hear people's opinions, their perspectives. But the reality of the situation is that not everyone is skilled up to have that conversation.
Sure.
Everyone has been in a professional setting before or feels comfortable with actually speaking up in something that is not comfortable. So having these conversations requires preparation. It requires somebody maybe practicing little steps to build up to that. So I think that a good advice for people that are maybe brand new coming in is building relationships internally where maybe it's peers that you can talk about it to understand maybe their experiences or what they've been able to bring up. And also just investing in their own preparation and building of the skill, understanding and acknowledging that it's not comfortable, nobody likes to do it, and that it's okay, but that we want these conversations to be had. We want issues or anything to be raised, because otherwise nothing's going to happen. People are going to be being unhappy, and we haven't really moved forward together. I think that becomes easier when you have people around you that you can confide in, that you can get their advice or direction. So seeking mentorship where maybe the relationship doesn't feel so intimidating with a manager, and you can build the skills you need to prepare to have that conversation with a manager or to have that conversation with someone in employee success.
No, that's great. And yeah, definitely having a support system, at any place of work can just make you feel like you belong, and that you're seen and that you're valued. So it sounds just from what you've told me, that employee success is a very serious concern and something that Veeva tries to champion.
Yeah. And that's like, I'm part of the Veeva women's community, and we have monthly meetings, and there is many initiatives that come from that. So I've been able to meet and start building a little bit of a network of other women at Veeva that I don't work with and I otherwise would not know, because they're in completely different areas, departments, locations. But because of this, there are so many things that you could build that network, and it doesn't just have to be in people that are on your team or that you directly see or interact with every day.
Great. Thank you. All right, Anya, do you want to take us out?
Definitely. What are some ways interested students can connect with your company or representatives?
So you could look at our blogs. We have YouTube videos as well. And there's a Generation Veeva LinkedIn page that has information from current Veevans about opportunities for new grads. Also, you could contact Sarah Shields. So that's sarah.shields@veeva.com. She's our university recruiter. And she is welcome to take any questions or guide anybody through the process. But I would say LinkedIn is a really good source for just seeing some of the most recent things we're doing and learning more about our programs.
And then just to wrap up, do you have any pieces of advice for students preparing to graduate or who already have?
Yeah, I would say my advice is that to be thoughtful about this recruiting and interview process, that you're interviewing the company as much as they're interviewing you. Even if you don't know exactly what you see yourself doing, more think about what are things that are very important to you. And that could be, what's the work-life balance? That could be the relationship that it has with the impact on society, or it's a specific task. I want something that's analytics, or I want something that's consulting. Figure out what the key important things to you are, and make sure that the position and the company that you're applying for has those, because your long-term success and happiness in a company is just as important as, they accepting you or extending an offer to you.
That's very